Olá, pessoal, boa tarde. Bem-vindos à parte da tarde do Research Challenge. Esse ano, como todo mundo sabe, né, em 2 turnos, para a gente ter 2 ganhadores. O da manhã já foi anunciado, vou deixar o Gustavo falar mais sobre isso. Mas agora estamos aqui na parte da tarde e bem-vindos a todos. Parabéns por estarem aqui. Meu nome é Mauro Miranda, sou presidente da CFA Society Brazil. Sempre um prazer participar desse evento, né? Uma vez por ano a gente faz esse evento com todo mundo. Normalmente é só a parte da manhã, então hoje, como eu falei, o dia inteiro. É um prazer em dobro. Esse ano a gente teve um número recorde de inscrições, um número recorde de equipes participando. Foram mais de 300 pessoas envolvidas no processo como um todo, incluindo judges, graders, mentores, faculty advisors, alunos, voluntários da society, staff, todo mundo participando, mais de 300 pessoas no total. Então é uma tarefa bastante grande. Queria começar agradecendo ao Matheus Carneiro, que é o Head de Global de RH do BTG Pactual, que gentilmente cedeu aqui o auditório para a gente fazer esse challenge. O Matheus, que também é CFA Charterholder, é membro da Society, então está em casa aqui, e a gente está em casa com ele. A Society tem crescido bastante, como todo mundo tem visto aí. A gente já chegou a 1.200 membros. Estamos falando aí de 2.700 candidatos para o CFA ao ano. 160 mil pessoas no mundo têm CFA, né? Então a gente está crescendo bastante aqui no Brasil, é uma taxa de 14%, 15%. E, eventualmente, acho que seria interessante para todo mundo que participou do Challenge também considerar fazer o CFA lá na frente. A prova do CFA e o Research Challenge são apenas 2 das faces mais visíveis do CFA, que, na verdade, a gente faz aí umas 20 a 30 coisas diferentes, incluindo publicações, falar com reguladores como CVM e Banco Central para influenciar para o bem, a gente espera, regulação de mercado de capitais, curso preparatório, participação no dia do exame, eventos educacionais e eventos, né, de networking. Então a gente faz muita coisa e o Research Challenge é apenas uma delas. Queria agradecer aos nossos outros patrocinadores, Bloomberg, FactSet, XP Investimentos e Fit Solutions, que estão com a gente anualmente e ajudam em tudo que a gente faz. O que mais? Acho que era basicamente isso. Queria só dar as boas-vindas para todos e queria passar a palavra para o Matheus, como eu falei aqui do BTG, que está nos acolhendo aqui com todo carinho para esse dia de hoje. Então, Matheus.
Obrigado, Mauro. Bom, 2 palavrinhas. Bem-vindo para todos vocês. Parabéns para quem conseguiu chegar até aqui. Boa sorte nessa etapa final. Agradecer mais uma vez, a gente já teve a sessão da manhã, mas não podia deixar de falar aqui, agradecer mais uma vez a gente ter tido essa oportunidade de participar de alguma maneira dessa iniciativa aqui da CFA Society Brazil. Esperamos que o ambiente, o local, né, inspire e ajude, né, a energia, os grupos que vão apresentar. Garanto que tem muito conhecimento, muita coisa aqui que, de alguma forma, se conseguir passar para os grupos conseguirem absorver isso, vai ser útil na hora de fazer a apresentação aqui. Bom, é isso. Mais uma vez, parabéns. Eu sei que daqui vai sair um só vencedor. Provavelmente o Gustavo vai falar um pouco sobre esse momento, né, de apresentação de cada um. Eu sei que vai sair só um vencedor, mas eu acho que vale a pena reforçar, sem medo de cair aqui no lugar comum, que os outros 3, de alguma forma, também são vencedores. Eu tenho certeza, pelo que o Mauro estava me contando aqui, os 4 grupos que chegaram aqui realmente fizeram por merecer, estão num nível elevado e, bom, infelizmente ou felizmente, um tem que sair vencedor, né? Então, beleza, gente, é isso. Parabéns mais uma vez e boa sorte.
Queria apresentar aqui o Gustavo Moreira, que é nosso board member, voluntário da Society, toca o Research Challenge, vai falar das regras e tudo. Então, Gustavo, contigo.
Olá, pessoal, boa tarde. Espero que vocês estejam bastante animados. A gente teve uma sessão na parte da manhã com 4 equipes. Dessas 4 equipes, uma foi vencedora, que foi a Poli, mas o segundo colocado, o terceiro colocado e o quarto também fizeram um trabalho fantástico, tá? Eu fiz questão de falar aqui em público e falar depois individualmente para as 4 equipes, que eles devem estar muito orgulhosos. No Brasil, a gente tem um pouco essa impressão que vice-campeão não é bom, segundo colocado, terceiro colocado, mas é para ter muito orgulho. Então, se por um acaso sua equipe for a segunda, terceira colocada, coloca no LinkedIn, coloca no Facebook, Instagram, mas o que tem? Snapchat, publica com muito orgulho mesmo, que vocês merecem, tá? Vocês fizeram um ótimo trabalho. Então, vou me apresentar, Gustavo Moreira, sou do board da CFA Society, eu sou responsável pela área que chama Credentialing, que é tocar o Research Challenge, tocar o relacionamento da Society com universidades, com candidatos, e eu espero que esse tenha sido o primeiro contato que vocês tiveram com o CFA, que vocês se tornem candidatos e, eventualmente, CFA Charter Holders, porque eu tenho certeza que isso faz a diferença no currículo da pessoa. Tá? Assim, tenho vários exemplos que conseguiram estágio, que conseguiram emprego, porque falaram, Gustavo, eu tenho certeza que eu só fui contratado porque eu falei que participei do Research Challenge. Imagina vocês que estão aqui, já são finalistas, já são um dos 4 melhores dessa chave, aproveita, bota isso no currículo. Tá? Então, vamos lá, começando, eu vou querer agradecer imensamente a Anima, que também é um trabalho voluntário da empresa. Eles não ganham nada, pelo contrário, eles perdem, porque eles têm muito trabalho como empresa aberta, receber cliente, viajar, receber questionamento, eles abriram espaço na agenda deles. Primeiro, vocês devem ter visto, o Inácio, ele participou do webcast em 1º de setembro, foi aqui no nosso escritório, ali na Faria Lima, para falar da empresa, falar do setor. Hoje eu também fico imensamente feliz de ter o André Tavares e a Marina, o André é CFO, a Marina é Investor Relations Director, Institutional Relations Director. Então, todos os problemas são com esses dois. Um é problema de resultado, o outro é outros tipos de problema. Eles estão tirando o tempo deles para vir aqui assistir vocês. Tá? Além disso, eu tenho que agradecer muito a Isabela Maturro, que é analista de RI. Ela foi a pessoa responsável por fazer a ponte entre nós, vocês e a Anima. A gente teve mais de 40 equipes, né, inscritas. Imagina o número de equipes que mandaram questões, multiplica por 5, e ela respondeu tudo com uma super boa vontade, rapidamente, dentro da agenda dela, que também é bem corrida. Então, agradeço ela, agradeço o comprometimento do alto escalão e do profissionalismo que a Anima teve conosco, com a Society e com vocês, equipe. Também agradeço aqui aos juízes, que estão aqui também num sábado, pelo menos no de sol. O Simon, que veio das Ilhas Cayman. Veio de longe, mas espero que esteja gostando. O Luiz Ribeiro, que já tá, é o 5º ano que ele é juiz nosso aqui. O Fernando Fontoura, que já está há quantos anos aqui conosco? O 2º ano, tá trilhando aqui, por estarem aqui. Vão julgar a apresentação de vocês e eu vou destacar o que vai ser julgado, vocês vão falar inglês, o que vai ser julgado não vai ser o vocabulário de vocês, a gramática em inglês, vai ser o conteúdo. Tá? Obviamente, vocês façam o melhor trabalho de vocês, falar o melhor inglês, mas não se preocupa tanto assim com a língua, com a barreira da língua. Esse ano a gente teve mais de 40 equipes inscritas, significa mais de 40 Faculty Advisors, que são professores, mais de 40 mentores. A gente está falando de cerca de 200 estudantes no Brasil inteiro, desde região sul, sudeste, centro-oeste, nordeste. A gente teve 25 graders que analisaram vários relatórios e que que identificaram que vocês são uma das equipes finalistas aqui. E tenho muito orgulho de estarem aqui. Em termos de regras, tá? Vocês vão ter 10 minutos para fazer a apresentação em inglês. Não é 10 minutos mais 1 segundo. É 10 minutos, tocou o alarme, esquece, não pode falar mais nada. Depois vocês vão ter mais 10 minutos na parte de perguntas e respostas. Também nada mais. E quando a equipe de vocês estiver apresentando, seus familiares podem estar aqui na sala, familiares, amigos, namorados estão aqui na sala, mas a sua equipe, no momento que vocês deixam de apresentar, tanto o Q&A e a apresentação, sai todo mundo. Se algum familiar da equipe A estiver assistindo a apresentação da equipe B, agradece, porque a sua equipe vai ser desclassificada. Quem está aqui tem que ser da própria equipe, relacionado à própria equipe. Tá? Vamos lá. É normal que vocês estejam nervosos. Todas as equipes ficam nervosas. Todas as equipes falam coisa que no momento que você está falando, você pensa, não devia ter mencionado isso. Ou qual aquela palavra. Enfim, isso está todo mundo concorrendo em par de igualdade. Então, não se preocupa. Essa não vai ser a melhor apresentação da vida de vocês. Vai ser a pior. Mas vai ser a pior para todo mundo. Então, espero que a sua pior seja boa. Assim, e tenta aproveitar, tenta se divertir, tenta ser feliz, porque isso vai ser um dia muito importante da sua vida e eu espero que você lembre disso por muitos anos. Tá? Aprenda também, aprenda. Esteja aqui para aprender. Os juízes, obviamente, vão avaliar friamente o que vocês fizeram, vão ter perguntas e os juízes não são bicho-papões. Os juízes estão aqui mesmo para avaliar, para ter a melhor equipe, para saber qual que é a melhor equipe que vai representar o Brasil. Tá? E agora a gente vai fazer o sorteio da ordem de apresentação e a gente tem uma boa surpresa, tá? Uma boa surpresa para eles. E para a gente também, né? Que a gente sai mais cedo daqui. O planejamento são 4 equipes de manhã e 4 equipes à tarde. De manhã você tem a vencedora da manhã, que já foi anunciado, já venceu. E à tarde seriam 4 equipes e um vencedor. Uma das equipes não compareceu, não vai poder comparecer. Então são 3 equipes à tarde e um vencedor. Parabéns.
Fala qual é a equipe que não vem.
A FGV São Paulo não vem, tá? Então, se antes vocês tinham 25% de chance de vencer, como diria Dilma, aumentou em 1/3. Foi para 33%. Parabéns.
Aumentou em 100% para 33%.
Aumentou 100% vezes 2,5 dividido por pi.
Algo assim.
A gente vai fazer aqui o sorteio da ordem da apresentação, tá? Eu tô com os 3 nomes aqui. A gente gastou $10 mil para fazer esse sistema de sorteio. Super sofisticado. Nós temos aqui um saquinho preto.
Nada nessa mão, nada.
De mágico. Nada aqui dentro.
E os 3 nomes.
Agora a gente vai dobrar de maneira bastante complexa e vamos sortear aqui.
Está todo mundo aqui, né? Mackenzie está aqui. Aê. Unicamp está aqui. Ali. FEA. Tá ali.
Preciso virar aqui a FEA.
Tá aí, tá tudo aqui. Ok?
Tá bom?
E a Cíntia que está ali vai fazer o timekeeping. Ou seja, ela está com o celular, na hora que apitar, é importante saber isso, né? Na hora que apitar o alarme ali, acabou o tempo de quem está apresentando aqui, para de falar. E também para o Q&A, mesma coisa. Tá?
E faltando um minuto pro fim, ela vai levantar uma plaquinha no iPad, falando que é 1 minuto, tá? Ela não interrompe, ela só levanta.
1 minuto, não tem sim, é só número.
Tá.
Beleza? Então vamos lá? Ó,
Vamos lá.
então o que você tem aí?
FEA USP.
Então bota aqui dentro. Me ajuda aqui, Matheus. Vamos dobrar uma aqui, ó. Vou dobrar uma Unicamp, ó. Deixa meu tamanho aqui. Dobra pra dentro aqui. Agora a gente vai dobrar a meta. Vou dobrar a meta aqui, ó. Pronto. 1, 2, 3.
E eu gostaria de pedir a Marina para vir aqui. De manhã a gente teve o CFO, André Tavares. Agora a gente vai ter a honra da nossa diretora de RI para sortear a ordem. E a primeira equipe que sair vai ser a primeira a apresentar, a segunda equipe sorteada, a segunda a apresentar e a terceira.
Para Marina,
a terceira.
Quando sortear, abrir para mostrar, né, a auditoria que está ali atrás do...
Auditoria Deloitte.
Só para mostrar quem é quem. Tá? Está embaralhado aí, eu acho. Olha lá. Primeira equipe a apresentar vai ser a equipe... Mackenzie.
Não, pode ficar aí, mas já se prepara. O coração tá batendo mais forte?
Agora é pra valer.
Segunda equipe.
Vai que seu nome não tava no saquinho. Né?
FEA USP.
Qual será a terceira?
Será a terceira, mas vamos tirar. A auditoria requer que a gente, né, só para mostrar que realmente, né, estava lá.
Eu falei, vai que o nome não tava.
Mas não, só para mostrar. Unicamp. Ok? Ordem definida.
Tá bom, pessoal, então essa é a ordem. Agora vai ficar na sala só a primeira, Vamos conferir? A Mackenzie, só a equipe, o Fact Advisor e partes relacionadas à Mackenzie.
Good afternoon. We are Team 42 from Mackenzie University, and we're here to present our analysis and our sell recommendation on Anima. Through our valuation, we arrive at a target price of $11.82, representing a downside of 27%.
So starting from scratch, Anima is one of the leading Brazilian education organization that has 8 institutions spread across a portfolio of 37 academic units and has approximately 100,000 students. Anima acts mainly in the southeastern of Brazil, but it has some relevant presence in the Middle West and also in the south. Anima's core business is to provide high-quality education to its students, in fact, that can be proven and emphasized by the last edition of 2015 ENAD, in which 56% of courses Anima provides were graded with a grade 4 or 5 out of 5. On our perspective, this is one of the strong competitive advantage the company has compared to peers. Anima has also shown a consistent and solid growth from M&As and partnerships with renowned institutions such as São Judas, UniBH, HSM, Unisociais, and others. Anima historically used to provide 100% on-site and 100% distance learning courses, but Anima now decided to change focus to hybrid education, which would be a blend of 50-50 on-site and distance learning courses.
Anima is listed on Novo Mercado, which is a listing segment that has become a standard for transparency and good corporate governance. The executive board is composed by highly qualified and experienced professionals. The executives detain about 56% of the shares, and the company has an M&A committee that exploits and studies opportunities, which is very important given the fact that the main strategy, expansion strategies through non-organic growth. Anima is not just about higher education. About 6% of its revenues comes from other business.
So there are 5 key points that underpins our assessment, starting with student financing option. FIES, which is the public financing program, had drastic changes in regulation in 2015. And this for the entire educational sector, and had a huge impact in Anima for Anima in terms of student base. But this caused a gap to Anima's student base, but this gap is trying to be filled up by some other private finance institutions, mainly Pravaler, but without much of success.
And another reason for a sell recommendation is that companies wasn't able to repass inflation to its average ticket, which for the period was about 4.5%, and specifically Anima had a decrease in its average ticket of more than 2%, being the worst result between its peers. And despite the high increase in scholarships and discounts, companies wasn't able to maintain to stop the decrease of the student intake. Even though Anima had a positive result, it couldn't maintain the same result of student intake it had the last period of the last period of the last year.
Moving on with another point that underpins our assessment is that Anima is about to face a regulatory limbo. MEC, which is the Ministry of Education in Brazil, has a binary view on courses. Either a course can be classified as an on-site or distance learning course. To be classified as an on-site course, you must have up to 20% of distance learning content. And in order to be classified as a distance learning course, you must have up to 30% of on-site learning content. So everything that lays in between this range of 21% and 69% of distance learning content is still not recognized and assessed by MEC, and it is in this exact range that Anima wants to act via the implementation of the hybrid education. And according to our Q&A with the company, they told us that they expect to open up 5 new campuses in the next 5 years, which it would be 1 campus per year. And considering that each campus takes approximately 3 years to reach maturity in terms of students enrollment, we do think that Anima may not be able to keep up the pace they showed in the past, and also that this is kind of a weak expansion program.
Another key point for our sell recommendation is the low margin and the profitability. In the last 3 years, the value estimate for cost of capital and WACC were higher than return on equity and return over investment capital, destroyed the financial value of the company. We can see that the gross margin and EBITDA margin is still under the peers. we estimate that in the future, the EBITDA will increase in a slow pace than used to increase. Now, another thing is the profitability of the company. We can see that the return of equity and the net income don't grow up, had the best performance in 2014 after the IPO of the company and decrease after time.
So combining all those perspectives in an objective assessment, we estimate with a DCF approach using the free cash flow to firm with explicit estimates from 2019 to 2028. And we start by stating that the company presents a slower creative expansion. And we start estimating revenues as the multiplication of the average ticket by the student base. We estimate the average ticket by updating 2017 ticket by inflation as it is the standard practice. And we estimate the student base based on a model that uses the student age population, the states that Anima operates, the GDP growth for the Brazilian economy, and the number of campuses that Anima have. So the student age population, the states that Anima operates, shows decrease in 2019 according to the EBG's projections, and it remains flat compared to 2018, the next forecasted years. Also, the Brazilian economy doesn't present robust economic growth in the forecasted years. And the campus expansion, as we stated earlier, is very weak, according to our Q&A with the company, presenting a CAGR of only 2.5% compared to 28.3% in the past. This results in a student base growing at a much slower pace and resulting in a weak revenues growth in the forecasted years. So, back. So, apart from the weak revenues growth, the company presents accelerating profitability with a CAGR of 12.4%. That is because of an improvement in margins. We expect margins to improve due to the implementation of the blended model, which is the hybrid education, and the focus of the company on reducing SG&A and also on the recently acquired institutions, and also the classroom optimization model, which they're implementing right now. Still, we expect a 25 basis point increase in the EBIT margin in forecasted years from 2018 to 2024. And here, the company will still significantly lag behind its peers and remains weak. As a result, the free cash flow to firm from 2019 to 2029, which are the forecasted years, grows at a CAGR of 7.9% approximately, which is offset by a WACC of 13.43% as we estimated, which is the highest among peers. Next slide, please. With a perpetuity growth rate of 6.73%, we arrive at a firm value of 1,050 million reais, which is composed 62% of the perpetuity and 38% of the explicit projections, resulting in a target price of 11.82, representing a 27.1% downside compared to the current price. We perform a standard bull, base, and bear scenario analysis. In the bull case, we expect the company to be successful in implementing the blended model and successful in reducing SG&A in the recently acquired institutions, resulting in a higher increase in the EBIT margin. And also, we expect the student financing conditions to be better, permitting an increase student base accelerating at a 10% faster pace than compared to the base case. This leads to good profitability margins, but to only 15.9% upside compared to the current price. In the bear scenario, we expect the company to fail to implement the blended model and to be unsuccessful in reducing SG&A in the recently acquired institutions, and also to have harder financing conditions for its students, therefore having a student base that increases at a slower pace. This would result in a 52.7% downside compared to the current price. We also perform a relative valuation using the enterprise value to EBITDA multiple for the Brazilian peers, and with EBITDA forecasted for the next 12 months and for the last 12 months, and we arrive at a downside of 36.5% and 24.2% respectively.
So we summed up our investment thesis, coming up with this risk matrix, in which we assess that student financing shall decrease in the next years with a high probability, the regulatory limbo that Anima is inserted.
Bom, pessoal, obrigado pelos 10 minutos. Agora a gente vai ter mais 10 minutos para
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. One question I have for you to start with is one of you made the comment that the company has a weak expansion program, one campus per year, which doesn't drive profitability enough. Is your argument that if they opened more campuses more quickly, they would be much more profitable, or are you worried about the ability to generate profit from campuses? Where's the crux of the argument that you have there?
Yeah, we estimate that by not opening up as much campus, we shall see that Anima may not expand its footprints, and we do consider that as one of the main issues because FIES had drastic changes in regulation, including region priority, and the region priority that FIES is more focused on right now is not the same that Anima currently operates. So if Anima could increase its expansion program for more campuses openings, maybe we could see an increase in the student base profile.
So your analysis shows that each campus is profitable for them. In other words,
Yeah.
you want for the bull case, you'd need them to open more campuses for you to change your mind.
Yeah, we think the stock is overpriced because it takes into consideration a higher growth they had in the past, and since they're not presenting the same growth they showed in the past with a very weak expansion program, we believe the stock is overpriced. That's the argument.
Regarding their past M&A activity, they have acquired many companies, many colleges in a way, and sometimes, let's say, they acquired and they're expanding, and sometimes it takes a while for the acquisitions to mature in terms of increasing usage of the rooms, getting new professors, turning around the business. Do you see any upside in your model in terms of the maturity of the acquisitions, in terms of margin expansion? Or you took into account that the past acquisition, the past expansions in general are already mature?
Yeah, we're in our base case, as we said, we are considering a 25% basis point increase in the EBIT margin as a result both of the implementation of the blended model and the reducing of G&A by the turnover of recently acquired institutions. In our bull case as well, consider a higher increase in EBIT margins, as we're considering that the company will be very successful in reducing SG&A and also in implementing the blended model.
Thank you.
You mentioned that they are inserted in a tough and aggressive environment where they are having a tough time passing on inflation to average ticket, but their competitors, at least two of them, Estácio and Ser, were able to increase prices and during the same periods. Why do you think that was, and what can Anima do to follow that? Is that a problem of the industry or a problem with Anima itself?
Yeah, we would like to show that chart that the environment is becoming much tougher for acquiring students, but most of them had a decrease in Anima couldn't passing inflation, because I think with the changes, I think the environment is a lot of tough. The economy, the people, the families aren't being able to spend with college, and that's maybe one of the reasons. Would like to show in that slide, and the next one with the intakes, is that really the years to come will be much more tougher. We think that this kind of graph will maintain, this kind of intake and this kind of prices repassing. Okay.
Okay, I was looking at the numbers you have here. They don't look bad. Actually, they look good. If I look at Anima's intakes, I think it's better than for the peers. I look at margins that they have right now, they look better than the peers as well. I think, if I'm not wrong, but you may correct me if that's not the case. When you have a sell for the companies, is it related to the company itself, or it's more a negative view on the industry? Or would you invest in this industry right now you have different opportunities than what we have. I think the question is, are you negative on the industry or on the company? How do you see that?
We are both negative on the industry and on the company. On the industry side, we believe that the industry is facing hard times because of the worse student financing conditions. The Fies is changing now. Daniel can talk more about that later. But also Anima, it presents very low margins compared to peers. The company is also is not showing a successful turnaround in the last 3 years with these very low margins. And Daniel, can you talk about the industry?
Yes, if that FIES, the changes in FIES, we consider that it will impact the industry as a whole. These are the main changes we took into account. So FIES is more focused towards poor families, poor people from poor families, and also the interest on loans granted are almost doubled the cost. There is a region priority, which is now North, Northeast, and Midwest, and prior to that, prior to 2015, there was no region priority, and there is a course priority as well right now, engineering, teaching, and health courses. So we do think that FIES have a huge impact for the entire industry as a whole, but specifically in Anima, we assess that we could see even worse, even bigger impacts, given the fact that Anima is focused more on regions that are not prioritized by FIES, and that could not happen with other companies from the same sector, but we do think that the sector as a whole could have effects.
Another thing is that the company is going against the flow. It's leaving distance learning, and we believe that the entire market, Croton, Sede Educacional, and Estácio are focusing on distance learning. Even though it's a very competitive market, we believe that it's the future because since the clients are now preferring cheaper courses and distance learning is the option, while they don't have the opportunity to get a FIES financing. So that's another point. And also the company is facing this regulatory limbo with the implementation of the blended model, which is one of the main value propositions. And they're still not regulated, and it's uncertain what will happen in the future.
Okay, if I look at where the stock trades right now, it trades at a premium to other names, right, in the sector on a multiple base. If I look at the multiples, P and EBITDA. Why do you think that is? I mean, what are the main differences between you guys and consensus? And what would lead the stock to correct or to go into the direction of your price target in the short term? What would be the negative triggers? What are the differences between your expectations and the consensus expectations to justify the stock trading where it is?
Well, in the short term, I don't see how the market should take a better look at the company, and maybe they are too optimistic on Anima's business plans because they have a very good management and they can show like they are doing the work and going after it. But we don't believe the company is acting in a market that has a big future in the short or medium term in Brazil. And we also just don't see the company performing well in the last years, and we don't see improvement. So that's why we downgrade the company and we recommend a sell.
You mentioned some difficulties with the regulatory environment, especially for distance learning. So is there any change in regulations that would cause you to change your opinion regarding the company?
Yeah, I think if in case the Ministry of Education values and considers courses that has a blended courses as well, other than just classifying by on-site or distance learning courses, we do think that this could improve Anima's performance. But this, in my opinion, would rely on government decisions, and therefore we don't have any kind of a forecast to be based on that is very reliable. But We do think that this is according to Ministry of Education.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are the team from FEA USP, and we are here to present our analysis and recommendation on Anima, a company focused on provide high-quality education in Brazil.
We would like to remark that Anima is an impact investment case because quality education indeed enables better living standards for students and society benefits from positive externalities.
Our target price of 21.5 reais means a 33% upside to the closing price of October 21st, implying a buy recommendation. Our investment thesis is founded on the following key pillars.
Anima has the highest academic quality and best reputation among listed peers.
Fast student intake cycles among traded companies, in addition to controlled dropout rates.
Higher margins to come thanks to the implementation of the new academic model based on hybrid learning and the maturing of new units.
Future gains in market share on a consolidating and fragmented market.
But in order to understand our target price, it's important to know a few things about higher education in Brazil.
First, companies that adhere to ProUni are exempt from paying income and sales taxes in exchange for awarding scholarships to low-income students with good academic performance.
Second, FIES, the government subsidized student loan program. Nowadays, companies are less dependent on government support, having increased their exposure to students paying tuition out of pocket. Anima has reduced the proportion of FIES students from 42 to 21% currently and should further reduce to 10% in the next 3 years.
Third, even in difficult times, the industry displayed resilience. For instance, while GDP shrunk drastically in the 2014-2017 period, Anima's net revenues grow by an incredibly 15% CAGR.
But what would happen in the case of an outstanding macroeconomic outlook? We believe that strong drivers of demand would be awakened. The first of them, excess of capacity. In the past year, only 32% of all new vacancies were filled.
Vast college-age population. Brazil has one of the largest college-age populations in the world, but at the same time, one of the lowest gross enrollment ratios, with only 35% of youngsters between 18 and 24 years old enrolled in an upper secondary program.
Finally, education premium is the main driver for study demand, as additional years of study increase future income, and Brazil stands out in the OECD ranking with the highest salary premium regarding tertiary education.
But where is Anima amidst all of that? Anima is a 1.4 billion real market cap company with 8 institutions, 37 units spread throughout 5 Brazilian states, more than 3,100 professors and 3,800 collaborators, as well as about 800K students.
Anima operates in 2 great segments.
Education, with a highly concentrated portfolio of undergraduate students, which represents about 95% of net revenues.
And other businesses, which consists in the offering of in-company training and organization of events.
Over the years, Anima developed the strategy of acquiring the so-called regional anchors, which are local and traditional institutions, but commonly suffering from financial and managerial problems. This strategy enables successful turnarounds, which are then followed by organic expansion.
So, in order to maintain quality along its new units, Anima integrates its systems, integrates its services, but the most important, integrates its academic model.
So Vinicius, what about the academic model?
Well, it's a new concept called hybrid learning. Students spend 80% of learning hours on campus and 20% via distance learning.
The hybrid learning is able to achieve a better distribution of students among classrooms, as well reducing faculty costs. The most important for higher education institutions. This is a crucial factor for margins improvement.
So how is Anima positioned among competitors?
Anima is the only public company in the middle market, having the challenging mission of conciliate scale with high academic standards.
While having higher quality than mass players like Croton and Sir, Anima has easier access to capital than boutique players.
Due to fierce competition, companies have to give high discounts in order to keep attracting students. However, Anima has a strong net average ticket, and its intake growth has been far superior than the market.
Regarding the undergrad on-campus segment, together listed companies have only about 20% of market share. Considering the market is still highly fragmented, we expect consolidation to continue in the next few years.
So Fernando, what about the numbers?
Well, Kyle, our target price derives from four main factors that we perceive as intrinsic to Anima. The first of them, growth. Anima has displayed an impressive development of its student base in the past few years. The number of students grew at a 6.8% CAGR between 2015 and 2017, from 80,000 students to 100,000 students.
Additionally, Anima has been able to increase its tuition prices. As a result of both factors, net revenues surged from 700 million reais in 2014 to 1 billion in 2017 and are expected to keep on growing, reaching 2.2 billion in 2025.
Margins improvement. Although Anima has the lowest margins among traded companies, partially explained by its median scale, we expect the gross margin to increase from 43% to 46% in the final year due to the reduction of faculty costs.
EBITDA margins are also set to enhance from 13% to 19% in 2025, partially thanks to an SG&A reduction plan recently announced by the company that is focused on capture synergies between non-core areas of institutions.
Healthy cash generation. We believe Anima has a healthy cash flow generation from operations, thanks to past positive results, in addition to controlled working capital and policies.
Although Anima is the most leveraged company among traded peers, we believe its capital structure is balanced, because most part of its debt will be amortizing long term.
It's important to notice that currently Anima is in a strong cash position due to the issuance of a bond in the debt market, in addition to the payment of the last installment of FIES receivables from 2015.
Regarding capital expenditures, Anima has a history of acquiring successful institutions such as São Judas in 2014 for more than 300 million reais and Sociais in 2015 for 880 million.
Last but not least, valuation. We valued Anima on the basis of a discounted cash flow model as well as a multiple analysis.
From the DCF perspective, it's important to lay out assumptions applied to our model. They are
a nominal WACC of 11.4%, composed by a cost of equity of 11.7% in reais and a cost of debt of 11%.
A perpetuity growth rate of 4.5%, compounded by a projected inflation rate for Brazil of 4%, along with a conservative estimate of growth for the education sector of 0.5%.
Regarding relative valuation, we applied the median EV to EBITDA multiple of 7.7 times, number slightly below Anima's, which is 8 times.
Our Monte Carlo analysis yielded a 60% buy recommendation, number more than enough to confirm our call.
But Vinicius, what are the main risks to our call?
We believe the highest risk is strategic. If management fails to implement its new academic model, operations would be harshly affected and margins would not improve.
Finally, remember we mentioned ProUni? Well, if the program is not renewed by the government in 2024, then our target price would fall from 21.5 to 14.7 reais.
To sum up, we believe we found an opportunity. Thanks to a positive sector outlook, Anima should grow its market share. Thanks to its quality, Anima should maintain its positioning.
Thanks to successful intake cycles, financials should remain solid.
And thanks to its margin recovery, we believe that Anima has a high upside potential. Thanks a lot, and we are now open for questions.
Well, I saw that your case is based on a margin recovery, right, as well, and then today Anima has the lowest margin among at least the peers you looked into. What are the main drivers for this margin recovery, if you could repeat them again right now? Because I see that they have already the very high average ticket price, but the costs are also high, right? And the reason why the cost is high is because they want to offer a better quality. How do you manage to improve margins and still keep this quality premium?
The main driver for this reduction is the new academic model, because it managed to reduce faculty costs, the time spent on faculty costs with the hybrid learning methodology, but total learning time will increase for students because they can have distance learning also. So this is the main driver for margins to increase in the long term.
You mentioned your target price if eventually Pro-Uni, the tax break is ended in 2040 and 24, or at least not renewed. It's going to end, but it's not going. If it's not renewed. Since it's such a big driver to value, even more so than seems to be margins or revenue growth, we're talking about more than 50%, 40% downside. What's your take on that? I mean, is it probable that it's going to be renewed? Should we worry about it? Is there anything that the company can do to mitigate this risk?
I can take care of that. It's regarding probability is much like a coin toss, and so we should be worried about that because it will reduce value a lot, but it's unlikely that the government, on the other hand, will cut its contract during its valid period. So
I think it's difficult to say because we're talking about the future, but we have a very good indicator that Pro-Uni in 2014 was renewed, and the contract is due in 2024. So there was a first renewal in 2014. We expect to, in our model, we expect Pro-Uni to continue. On our base case scenario, Pro-Uni is renewed, basically.
But we can say if it will happen or not. Sure.
Yes. You have many positives, like you have a positive sector outlook. The company has a unique competitive positioning,
right.
Best student intake. What do you think is Anima's competitive advantage?
Basically, quality. That's what differentiates Anima between mass players like Croton and Sir and Estácio, and boutique players like Inspire or FGV.
But I mean, how can they keep on delivering, such as, let's say, margin growth, student-based growth, in the future?
Sorry, could you repeat?
How can keep on delivering top-line growth, revenue growth, margin expansion in a sector that is still very fragmented and competitive?
Well, it's competitive, but again, we think quality is a very good driver between mass players because it has fair superior quality than Croton and Ser, but a much lower ticket on the other hand than boutique players.
If you notice, Anima has one of the best intakes in the industry in the past few years. So we believe that this is a reflection of its quality. The perception of consumption.
Yeah. Let me challenge you a bit more on that topic, the quality. As I understand it, one of the key differentiator for this company is the quality that students have perceived of it, the quality of the education. They're aggressively expanding, growing new campuses, taking on new intake in order to make more money. How confident are you that they can maintain that quality as they expand campuses, expand staff? How do they maintain that level of quality? Because if they fail on that, that's a disaster for the business.
Yes. First of all, the company does not aim to be a mass player. It does not aim to expand drastically, as you asked. It should increase by 50% in the next 7 years. So it's not a huge growth compared to mass players with 1 million students and like Croton and so on.
But I would also like to add that we already see that the company managed to prove this point because despite high capex investments, their cash flow was robust. They acquired several institutions, but then they are still here and their margin will improve.
A follow-up to that then, do you see any risk that as they expand, the cost of hiring staff starts to become a burden for them? Because you need to hire new staff and to attract people into an increasingly competitive market could actually affect margins in a negative way. So talk about that perhaps.
Yes, I think there's a giant pool of professors in Brazil. Anima is just a small player between a huge market. If I'm not wrong, Anima has about 2% of market share only, and it has quite a low number of professors. So we think there are a lot of professors out there to be hired by Anima.
But I can say that I think in the future, upper tertiary education will be more important also. So the cost with teachers will be a bit reduced to this increase in Anima's portfolio, to more demand for this kind of course.
I'm interested also in the small portion of the revenues, which is the other businesses.
Yes.
Right.
Will that generate value in the future? How do you see that? Or is that something that a company could sell in the future and will not be really focusing on that?
Well, we think it's very, very marginal. It represents less than 5% of net revenues. And we cannot assure for sure that the company will sell HSM or any other company, but you know, it does not have a huge impact in our valuation model.
Yes, it represents a tiny proportion, but in the past they couldn't produce good results.
It's also important to highlight that the company thinks the other business is important for the academic model with the verticalization of learning.
Follow up on this question. If those other business, they don't add much in terms of valuation, are those just a distraction, or is there a reason for them to be in the portfolio? Do you see a direct link in terms of quality and synergy in content between the two businesses?
Yes, the idea of the company is precisely synergies. But we are critical about that because we haven't seen this so far functioning so well. So, and as it represents a tiny proportion, we expect the management to show better results in the future because they didn't prove themselves in this way.
It's important to point out that other businesses has regularly presented negative results. It has a very seasonal results because events are only happening in certain quarters of the year, and in others, yes, there's a lot of seasonality, but overall, the other businesses segment has presented negative results to the company.
Just very quickly, we have just 1 minute. In terms of the upside, I think the upside is quite a decent upside. But in terms of timing, what would be the trigger for me? Should I buy it now? Should I wait? What would be the short-term triggers for this?
I think the short-term trigger is and will be to display results. In the fourth quarter, for example, we believe that if the company displays a better results, the stock should continue to rally.
There's a short-term trigger, that is the buyback, the recent buyback, and this will help the price to get in a more efficient level, and more in the long term, the margin will get better because of the academic model. But short term, the buyback.
We are out of time, right? 7 seconds. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. We are the Unicamp team. My name is Beatriz, and we're here to present a recommendation on Anima Educação. We reached a buy recommendation on our free cash flow model for 1 year price at target. We reached 20 reais and 40 cents for 1 year, and our closing price was in October 19. We also did a multiple analysis for a reality check. We were based in 4 main pillars: business advantage, competitive positioning, favorable dynamics, and financial performances. We're going through all these pillars, and they're going to financial performances, valuation, and finally, investment risks. So our 101 topic is business description. Anima operates in the tertiary business education sector and has more than 100,000 students, operates in 38 units, and has the 4th largest player in the sector. Also, Anima has 3 other businesses: HSM, Ebrade, and a partnership with Le Cordon Bleu. Besides, they only represent 6% of the revenue. They can increase the growth, gain visibility, and put our brands in the company.
All of this was only possible due to impactful management decisions aligned with good corporate governance practices. We believe that the fact that the company still has its founding members makes it a very good company, aligned with the fact that more than the required of the new Mercado rules to independent members is also respected. Let's look a little bit at the company shares. 44% of the company shares are on free float, which shows the company's concerns on long-term relationships. Let's zoom in on the sector. The education sector demands quality. Quality is a #1 priority for more than 70% of Brazilians. MEC at the same time awards companies with more flexible arrangements. They can create, organize, and extinguish courses without prior authorization, giving them a higher capillarity and a better reputation. Anima, at the same time, stands out. It was a top performer in all quality analysis. This reflects on many points. We can point out 2. First, the company has a higher average ticket than its competitors. Second, the company has a higher percentage of university centers and universities than all the public traded. This makes us believe that Anima is the best positioned company in the on-site, being an outperformer in all quality indexes and having the highest on-site growth from the recent years.
But Mauricio, ain't about the deal. I heard it's a trend market and Anima is out of that.
Indeed it is. It has a higher margins and a higher growth. But we would like to point out 3 points. First, it comes with lower quality. Second, it has a business dynamics where the winner takes it all, and with Estácio and Croton taking the lead, leaving little room for Anima. And third, it demands the companies to have more investments on technological advances, making it harder for the companies, making it easier for companies, foreigners to enter the market and make some type of change.
Our second pillar, favorable dynamics, we have 3 main drivers. As you can see, when increased unemployment affects directly the dropout of Anima, and credit offer and family income are both important to affect the Anima's intakes. Besides that, we believe that Brazil is an economy recovery and is boosted by the recent elections, and we think this is positive for Anima.
Hannah, I got a doubt. So with the economic recovery, do you think FIES will bring it back?
It's hard to say that, even though we have to recognize that FIES consolidated the sector. Recently, the government reduced the student loans by 60% since 2015. But Anima has a solution for that. The Provalê program is a private credit program with a partnership with Ida Invest that can supply this demand from FIES, and the good point is don't expose Anima's balance sheet. Other point to pay attention is Brazil still has a gap for growth. Brazil is one of the lowest number of the higher education in Latin America. Only 8% of the population between 24 and 35 years old has a degree, and governments want to change this scenario. The government goal is 30% of this semi-population has a degree until 2025. The other point is, has a degree Brazil has some other advantages. For example, you have two less chances to be unemployed, and the other point is you increase your income by 150%. The other point is Brazil has a highest demand for skilled labor. After all of this, the company's position and the favorable dynamics, you may ask, can Anima reflect this in the finance performance? So Thiago can answer this question.
So let's talk about financials. The economic crisis and the FIES cut down had a huge impact on Anima's revenue. However, the recent company results indicates a growth scenario. We believe the revenue will grow linear until 2021 and then flat out in 8%. We can break down the the revenue into student base versus net ticket. The student base will grow linear until 2021, and due to the aging of the population, we believe it will stay flat on 4%. Also, since the company was able to replace inflation on the past year, we believe we project a 4% correction on the net ticket. Also, there's five factors that indicates a recovery on company's margin. The first one is the maturation of recent acquisitions, as it will converge to the level of the established units. Also, the new corporate strategy with the reduction on corporate expenses, the new student allocation policy, and the new commercial strategy which reduces discounts, and also the hybrid learning, we believe the gross margin will stabilize in 43%, and the EBITDA margin will continue to increase due to gains of scale. The company recently leveraged itself to do organic expansion, and so we believe the future cash flows will be used to pay debt until it converges to the level of the industry. Through our evaluation, we got a earning per share growth of 21%, and the ROIC will exceed WACC in 2022. Here's a peers comparison. However, we don't believe this is a good analysis due to the difference on business models. And yeah, what about the evaluation?
We see actually a positive outlook in the evaluation with the discount cash flow model, the cash flow to firm, getting a target price of 20.40, and a multiple analysis getting our target price of 23.70. But we use the multiple analysis only has a reality check. So in all free cash flow to firm projections, we use 10 years, and a cost of debt calculated by spread on DI, a cost of equity calculated by the KPM model with a lower counter risk than consensus, because I actually believe in higher economic recovery than consensus. And this all gives us a WACC of 12.9. Also, we use a terminal growth value of 4% aligned with the long-term inflation, so we don't have no real growth. This gives us our target price, the majority of its price on medium terms. On our sensitivity analysis, we see that even varying the WACC and the G, we get only buys and holds. On the multiple analysis, we use a V to EBITDA, and we see that the multiple average of the sector, is 7.2, and the premium on sector, our historical premium on sector, is 1.7, getting us a target price of a target multiplier of 12.1.
But Iago, you said it was just a reality check. Can you tell me why?
So in the industry, we see that the capital structure is different of the companies, the margin is different from the companies, and actually the business models with some companies with higher position in the L makes a multiplier not that good to look. And our recommendation is actually consolidated with a Monte Carlo analysis that gives us 65.5% probability on buy. On Bia, what are the risks on our position?
Well, we have already talked about governmental, operational, sectorial, and economic risks, but we now have to highlight two more things, M&A and price risks. Well, as you may know, the sector is well fragmented, and companies use M&A as a strategy for growth and to protect their market share. However, if their competitors do the same, well, they can loss of opportunities, and they can lost market share. So in that case, you can see that the cash accumulation and the leveraging process may indicate that new purchases are coming. Finally, we can see that the price is very important for Brazilian students, and 53% of the dropout rate on private institutions. So the companies should balance how much they're going to pass along for their clients. Finally, we're very confident with our buy recommendation with this almost 26% of upside in our sensibility analysis. Now, we invite you to enroll and invest on Unima education. Thank you very much. Now, if you don't have any more trouble, take your notes, and the class is now open for questions.
It's a curiosity on the multiple analysis. I know you don't take that too much into consideration in your analysis. But how do you derive the discount or the premium? I mean, the 1.7%, the 1.7 times.
So we actually use the historical average premium. We got the multiples of the sector, and it got the average premium on that. So we got the premium.
It's historical. It's just historical premium.
The historical premium.
Okay, that was too easy. Let me ask you the second one then. On margins, I mean, the company today has the lowest margin in the sector, and I was interested in knowing more details, what the drivers are for margins moving forward. And added to that, I mean, should I expect a recovery soon? Should I buy the stock now, or we have to wait a couple of quarters until we start to see that?
Actually, this semester, the report of the company, we had actually better margin gains than the consensus, even through our valuation, and the intake was actually really good compared to the sector. So we think that it's a good opportunity now.
You mentioned that quality is an important attribute for customers, for prospective students when choosing. However, are customers willing to pay for quality? Do you have any evidence to support that pursuing a quality strategy is a good one for business? Because people might want quality education, but not necessarily be willing to pay for it. How do you see that?
Okay. Yes, people are willing to pay, but the thing is, quality education makes the sector less sensible to price. Okay, so it is much less sensible than the DL. And another point is, Anima has the highest average ticket and the highest recent growth. So I think that your question can be answered with the recent results, with the recent company's result.
And we did actually we asked to send the forms by the internet to private university students, and they said that the DL, for example, they really like the DL, but the problem is they think that the quality on campus and the being on the classroom with people actually is a really good, important thing for them, so they're willing to pay for that.
You forecast a revenue growth of around 8% or 8-ish, and you still have a buy. What is the main trigger there? Why should I buy despite having pretty much 4% real growth in the top line?
So we can say that the stock is not, maybe it's not a top pick on the sector, but still a buy because the sector is good, and after even with an 8% increase, bringing to the present value the cash flows, we get a positive gains on the run. If you see that, not only that, if you see the payout ratio that we projected, we can get it in the payout ratio. So. Okay, but the payout ratio projection is actually really high in the long term. So we actually believe that not only by price, but actually for dividends is a good stock.
One of the items you talked about was acquisitions and their success or otherwise of doing acquisitions. Talk to me, justify that they're successful to me in making acquisitions. And then the flip side to that is this company a potential target for others to acquire? And there's a relatively small free float. What are the owners who aren't in the public sphere? What are their perspectives of what they would want to do with this company?
Okay, first of all, answering your question about the M&A. Well, as we were looking for these M&A risks, we realized that the companies, the sector is well fragmented, and the companies that in the top two, they are really big, and of course they could buy. However, we don't see this as a risk for Anima, as our business is quite different from Kroton and Estácio, for example. Otherwise, they are going to a new business for the basic education. So we don't see it as a risk from this company. Well, now answering your question about the governance, we see the lack of liquidity as a loss of opportunity, of course, for foreign investors, because usually they're looking for this kind of parameter. However, we see this as a good way to keep the culture, especially because we have are still our founding partners, and as a compensation thing, that it's really good to keep the company together. So I think it's a good opportunity for the company.
And then a different topic. On one of your slides, you talked about the student base flat or 4% growth on a long-term basis. And I'm trying to reconcile that with the very low penetration level that degree-level education has here in Brazil. So why would you say that the student base growth rate is so low? It would seem to me intuitively that there's a much higher potential level of growth. I know you're optimistic about the stock, but I just wonder why you're so pessimistic in that area.
Well, we did not consider just the fact that we don't have a lot of penetration education system, but as our age pyramid is changing in Brazil. So the great majority of the young people, the boom in Brazil, we don't have it anymore. So we consider it as a qualitative parameter in our valuation.
Regarding the ProUni, can you explain to us what is the impact of the ProUni in your evaluation and what you're assuming in terms of renewal of the program or not?
So first of all, during the analysis, we see a trend in markets. After the government reduced the investment on FIES or ProUni program, the companies start to follow different alternatives to don't be sensitive to this kind of problem or uncertain. So now companies are searching for private credits, student loans, can be see that. Iago can tell more about these inputs in financial analysis.
So we actually believe that the government have been reducing, and in our view, we continue with this trend that even though we don't expect the same level of reduction, because if content like that will be below zero in not so much time, that we see still a reduction and will not come back the FIES and ProUni movement. So we actually value already a low impact on the stock. We see that we actually believe that ProUni FIES will not be will be a small part of the intake.
I noticed that your cost of debt is similar to your cost of equity. Why is that? It's so close, the spread. So
Actually,
small, I mean.
we estimate the cost of debt with a historical spread of the interest expenses, and that was a spread of average 8.5% on DI, and we discounted it as a marginal tax rate. It's actually in the cost of equity. We use it actually. We have market positions like the beta. We use the average multiple of a beta and leverage for the sector. The risk premium, we use the geometric S&P premium. We see that actually that is in correlation to the markets, to the consensus, the walk. It's really close to the consensus.
Talk to me a little bit about you used relative valuations as your health check, I think you called it. And you said that they are not a good comparators, but are there, did you look internationally for companies that are more similar to this company to try and understand what other businesses elsewhere are trading? And how do you make that judgment, and what does that tell you?
Okay, first thing, we did not make a comparison with foreign companies because we still have one recent IPO in 2017 from Laureate, which is a foreign company. But we prefer not to use it because they have their balance sheets exposed to FX, and none of these companies they have, so we're comparing with our national companies. Other thing that it's really, really important is that they have great growth, but they have low margins. So it's quite different from our sector.
80% of their revenue is exposed to FX, so it's to different, to not US dollars in the case of Laureate.
So how do you use these multiples then to assess the company? You're just using it as a health check in that case?
Yeah, we use it only as a health check. The free cash flow yield is actually a multiplier, not a multiple, yeah, but we are something that we looked that Anima is not that bad, not bad in this point, but actually don't believe that multipliers are really good to see.
We've got 10 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Boa tarde, pessoal. Vamos dar sequência aqui à parte da tarde do Research Challenge. O que a gente vai fazer aqui, a gente vai entregar o certificado de participação para todo mundo. Tá? A gente vai entregar na sequência das apresentações. Depois a gente vai tirar fotografias com as equipes. A gente vai tirar foto com cada equipe sozinha, depois as 3 equipes juntas, depois os 3 Factor Advisors. Tá? Depois eu passo a palavra para a empresa fazer os comentários das apresentações. Nós, juízes, vamos falar um pouco. E, finalmente, por último, a gente vai anunciar os vencedores. Tá? Primeiro, eu vou falar o terceiro colocado e depois eu falo o primeiro colocado. Tá? O segundo vocês vão adivinhar. Então, vamos lá, vamos dar sequência. Mackenzie primeiro, para a gente entregar os certificados. O Marcos Pielucci. Não está aqui? Tá, então vou entregar para a Bruna. A Bruna entrega para ele. Pode vir todo mundo que a gente vai tirar foto de vocês. Então, o Marcos Pielucci, professor. A Bruna Tonon, aluna. Daniel Nunes Xavier. Guilherme Freitas Domingues. Matheus Ferreira Guzman. Tá? E Pedro Henrique Silva Zá. Onde é que a gente tira a foto? Ali fica melhor? Vamos ali para tirar foto? O Daniel, o Guilherme, Matheus e o Pedro. Nada. Em seguida, eu vou chamar aqui o pessoal da FEA. Tá? A professora Lilian Carretti não está aqui, mas eu entrego o certificado para o Caio Pedron, Fernando Lopes, Pedro Peter e Vinícius Gonçalves.
Obrigado. Ok. Obrigado.
Por último, vou chamar, por último, na ordem de entrega, o pessoal da Unicamp, o professor Rodrigo Lana Silveira, Beatriz Ferreira Mendes, Iago Barreto Borges, Maurício Abreu, Renan Magri e Thiago Kitamura. Todas as equipes, a gente fazer todo mundo junto aqui, uma foto com todos os vencedores aqui, todos os finalistas. Vocês são vencedores. Parece aniversário.
Nossa, tá dando a perna já.
Dando sequência aqui, encerrada a parte da sessão de fotos, eu vou chamar aqui o André Tavares, que é CFO da Anima, e como um CFO de uma empresa listada, aberta em bolsa, não tem nada melhor, passou aqui a tarde inteira assistindo as equipes da manhã, vocês. Agradeço muito pela disponibilidade, porque eu sei que você tem outras responsabilidades, você tem coisa muito melhor para fazer, e está doando seu tempo para o CFA Society e para esses alunos, que é uma ótima forma de reconhecimento deles. Tá? Obrigado.
Bom, gente, boa tarde. Eu vou ser bastante breve, que eu acho que não é muito inteligente ficar entre vocês e o anúncio do resultado, né? Então, como eu gosto de dizer, eu vou seguir as 3 regras de qualquer bom orador, né? Que é falar alto para ser ouvido, claro para ser entendido e breve para ser aplaudido. Então, vou tentar seguir essas 3 regras rapidamente. Bom, primeiro eu queria dizer que é uma grande honra, falando em nome da Anima, é uma grande honra para nós, para mim e para a Marina, representando a Anima, estar aqui nesse dia. E eu queria realmente agradecer muito e parabenizar o CFA, o Mauro, o Guilherme, pelo convite e pela iniciativa. Acho que foi um trabalho de altíssima qualidade. Queria dizer, Guilherme, que realmente valeu a pena trocar o sábado do parque, do cinema com os meninos, com o Paulo e o Joaquim, e a Ana, minha esposa e meus 2 filhos, para estar aqui aprendendo com vocês. Acho que eu fiquei muitíssimo impressionado com a qualidade das apresentações, tanto na parte da manhã como na parte da tarde. Eu fiquei aqui o dia todo com vocês para acompanhar realmente a qualidade das apresentações e eu fiquei bem impressionado com o que eu vi. Acho que a maioria das apresentações que foi feita não deve quase nada à grande maioria das apresentações de sell-side que eu vejo e que eu participo, especialmente quando a gente está falando de profissionais que ainda estão em formação, não é? Eu discordei de 95% do que o pessoal que recomendou CEL falou. E concordei com 101% do que o pessoal que recomendou BUY disse. Não, como eu sou... como eu não sou judge, isso não tem a menor importância aqui. E como nós somos uma empresa de higher education, a gente sabe conviver muito bem com o contraditório, com a livre expressão do pensamento e com quem pensa diferente da gente. Então, a gente não tem nenhum problema com relação a isso, né? Eu queria parabenizar por demais os alunos e queria dar um parabéns especial também para os faculty advisors. Eu acho que eles tiveram um papel preponderante. Na Anima, a gente gosta de dizer que o aluno é o centro do processo, mas o professor é a sua grande inspiração e seu grande modelo. E como vocês já viram, isso inclusive se reflete nos nossos custos. Pagar bons professores não custa barato. E investir na formação desses professores para que eles tenham condições de ser grandes inspiradores de vocês é um dos pilares do nosso modelo. É o que a gente acredita, principalmente quando a gente fala de long-term value proposition. Tá? Então, eu queria realmente fazer uma homenagem a esses professores, da orientação e do trabalho que eles ajudaram vocês aqui a fazerem. Eu já falei com o pessoal do CFA, a gente vai ver eventuais problemas, a gente não quer trazer nenhum problema, principalmente para os vencedores que vão a Nova York, mas a gente vai fazer questão de, especialmente os times vencedores, a gente vai querer que vocês vão à Anima, na nossa reunião de diretoria, na nossa reunião do management team, fazer essa apresentação com mais tempo, em português, com mais tranquilidade, e trazer o que eu acredito que vocês trouxeram de alguns insights muito importantes, tanto, muitas vezes, quem está no Buy Recommendation como quem está no Sell Recommendation. O grupo que venceu de manhã foi um grupo de Sell Recommendation. E a gente vai fazer questão de fazer esse convite, de levá-los para fazer essa apresentação e ter também conhecer um pouco na prática, fazer um tour pela Anima e conhecer um pouco na prática o que vocês passaram tanto tempo estudando a partir dos relatórios e dos números que vocês viram e das informações que a gente também forneceu para vocês. Bom, por último, eu queria desejar um extremo sucesso a vocês, repetir o que o Guilherme já disse, que vocês, por estarem aqui, são grandes vencedores, que a vida dos próximos alunos de vocês não vai ser tão fácil, porque a gente já falou com o CFA que a gente vai fazer um trabalho muito intenso para que os alunos da São Judas, do UniBH, das nossas marcas estejam aqui concorrendo com vocês nas próximas edições. E como eu sei também que vocês, ao final da graduação, devem encher um pouco o saco das instituições de vocês, que são instituições de muito valor e que a gente respeita muito, eu não vou perder a oportunidade de dizer que quando vocês pensarem em fazer um MBA, uma pós-graduação, vão para as instituições da Anima. Então, muito sucesso, parabéns, fiquei muito orgulhoso de estar aqui hoje e, independente de quem seja anunciado como vencedor, tenho certeza que foi bastante difícil para os juízes, mas todos vocês merecem estar aqui e são realmente vencedores. Obrigado, boa tarde.
Pessoal, chegou a hora esperada. A gente vai anunciar aqui os finalistas. Mas para calma. Mas antes disso, eu vou abrir aqui para os judges, para eles fazerem os comentários. Os comentários sempre muito construtivos, para vocês se desenvolverem, pensando academicamente, profissionalmente. Então, eles vão falar. Aí só depois vocês vão saber quem vão ser os vencedores. Tem que criar expectativa. Obrigado, Luiz.
Eu também vou ser bem rápido. Também queria agradecer a presença de todos, parabenizá-los, né? Aqui acho que já é a quarta ou quinta vez que eu estou aqui como juiz desse CFA Challenge. E é incrível a qualidade sempre, a qualidade é muito boa. E hoje, em particular, foi inclusive melhor. Eu tive essa percepção de que foi uma qualidade muito boa, realmente. Então, o nosso trabalho hoje não foi fácil, foi muito difícil. Tanto na manhã como na tarde, a diferença foi realmente um fio de cabelo. Assim, a gente discutiu um tempo enorme aqui. E foi uma decisão difícil. Então, acho que todas as equipes que estão aqui estão de parabéns. Realmente, eu faria o que o Gustavo falou, colocaria no currículo a participação, porque é difícil chegar aqui nessa etapa com essa qualidade que vocês chegaram. E eu falo isso porque eu estou há bastante tempo nesse mercado, não vou falar quantos anos para não denunciar a minha idade, mas eu comecei jovem nesse negócio, eu já estou há muito tempo. Eu sou o 7º CFA no Brasil, então vocês podem ter uma ideia por aí. Então façam as contas aí. Eu pareço jovem, assim, mas eu pareço jovem. Já faz um tempinho. Meu trabalho é realmente falar com analistas, falar com empresas. Eu gasto todo o meu tempo fazendo isso, né? Então eu posso realmente dizer que o nível de qualidade da apresentação de vocês não fica nada a dever a de analistas que já estão trabalhando no sell side há algum tempo. E por isso eu fico orgulhoso, né, de ter vocês aqui com essa capacidade e esse nível. Eu agradeço pela presença, parabenizo todos e boa sorte aí, né, ao vencedor, quem seja o vencedor, nos Estados Unidos, né, que vão de fato nos representar lá. Muito obrigado.
Bom, pessoal, toda vez eu pontuo que é sempre muito difícil falar depois do Luizão. Já tive o grande prazer e honra de trabalhar junto com ele. Não, imagina, que isso. E eu não estou fazendo isso há tanto tempo quanto ele, mas um pouquinho.
Agora você parece mais velho.
Exatamente. O meu CFA deve ter sido o 400 e alguma coisa, não sei. Não tem tanta graça. Mas eu acompanho os comentários que ele fez a respeito da qualidade. Realmente, enfim, eu também, meu dia a dia é interagir com analistas e absorver o conteúdo que eles produzem, e o que vocês mostraram aqui pra gente não fica devendo. A gente reconhece, a gente sabe, a gente fica nervoso por vocês, então a gente sabe que É uma tarefa dificílima chegar aqui num espaço de tempo onde você está sendo medido em toda palavra que você fala. Então, a gente leva isso em conta e a gente tenta, ao máximo possível, atribuir o máximo de valor ao trabalho que foi feito por trás e que a gente sabe que é longo. A gente sabe que vocês estão envolvidos nesse projeto já há bastante tempo, vários meses, e dedicaram tempo de vocês que poderiam estar, né, enfim, fazendo outras coisas. E estão seguindo o espírito do CFA, que é improve, learn, buscar, enfim, conhecer cada vez mais, preparar as próprias carreiras. Então, vocês têm os valores do CFA. Acho que o caminho natural para todos vocês que se interessarem, que quiserem continuar na área, é tirar o CFA e ir atrás, que eu acho fantástico. Então, vocês estão todos de parabéns e, de novo, mesma coisa. Quem ganhar não é ganhou lá na frente, quem perder ficou lá atrás. Não, realmente foi um trabalho bem difícil fazer essa decisão. Então, todos estão de parabéns, todos estão muito qualidade excelente. Boa sorte para o time que for para Nova York e sucesso para aqueles que ficam por aqui. Para todos.
Well, thank you very much to all of you for participating. I very much enjoyed it. But before I go into that, I just want to say a few thank yous. And I think it's beholden on all of us to say a few thank yous to Gustavo, Mauro and his team, for the ladies here, for doing such an excellent job of organising, coordinating both yourselves and all the other universities. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And then also, I think, a thanks to the judges before we announce the score. Let's say thank you to the other judges for participating. So thanks, guys. Thank you. And it goes without saying, we should thank our CFO here for making him and his staff and his team available. So let's give them a round of applause as well. Thank you. Like, I genuinely do. I've enjoyed the whole of today. Obviously, we had some presentations this morning and yourselves this afternoon. I've learned a lot about a company I didn't know about, and that's because of the hard work that you guys have all done. Simple as that. So you should be very proud of all the work that you have done, because you've helped me know something I didn't know before. And I think you guys were speaking Portuguese, but I guessed a few of the words, and you're talking about lifelong learning and training and such like. So there's always ways for us all to learn more and be better. And the very effort that you guys put in, you should all be immensely proud of yourself. And when you look forward in your careers progress and you look for jobs, just remember what you did today, because there are many teams who tried to get to where you are today who didn't. You're the teams that did get to today. Now, there could only be one winner, and whoever does win, remember, you're not only representing your university, you're also representing your country. So be very proud of yourselves, but be respectful of that as well. And remember that you're there to perform, but also to have fun. It's also about fun. You're going to meet an awful lot of people from different parts of the world who will be of incredible value to you, to learn what their culture is, what their experiences are. So don't forget that, and make sure whoever does win, you do enjoy that experience, because it is an extraordinary opportunity. Just being here is a good opportunity. That's an even better opportunity. So I wish whoever does win well in that. I have genuinely enjoyed my time here, and I think the hard work that all of you did was incredible. And I know the number of hours that you have to put in for this. I know most of you have got exams, next week? And last week? So that's not terribly easy, is it, when you've got hundreds of hours for this, preparation for this, and then you've got real exams to do as well. So congratulations to you all. I will say no more, because I think the most important thing that you're waiting for now is to know who won. And that's not my decision to tell you. That's someone else's. So that's good for me. I'll pass back over to Gustavo. Thank you.
Por último, eu como juiz, eu gostaria de agradecer mesmo a qualidade dos relatórios, o esforço que vocês colocaram. Quando um grader lê um relatório, é muito claro para o grader ver a quantidade de tempo, esforço e energia que foi colocado naquele relatório, que permitiu vocês chegarem aqui. E os relatórios que vocês entregaram foram muito bons, tá? O grader, ele avalia o relatório de vocês usando o método de blind review, então ele não faz ideia quem é que ele está avaliando, e vocês receberam muitos elogios, tá? Falando da apresentação hoje, foi bastante positiva, me permitiu aprender mais sobre um setor que eu não conhecia, sobre uma empresa que eu não conhecia. Vocês trouxeram várias ideias que a gente não, que eu desconhecia, que os outros judges também não conheciam, que também desconheciam. Muitas vezes ideias diferentes das equipes que vieram aqui de manhã. Então, foi um processo bastante enriquecedor. Quem está aqui nessa sala deve ficar muito feliz. Vocês devem ter muito orgulho de vocês. Vocês devem colocar no currículo de vocês que vocês são finalistas da etapa brasileira. A competição brasileira do Research Challenge, ela só é menor do que a competição da Índia, que tem o quê? 1 bilhão de pessoas. Então, sinceramente, vocês são vencedores com muito orgulho. Vocês fizeram um ótimo trabalho no relatório, nas apresentações. Então, vamos bater palma para vocês. E, finalmente, o momento esperado, tá? Eu vou anunciar primeiro o terceiro lugar, tá? Terceiro lugar, a Mackenzie. Parabéns. Parabéns. Mackenzie está onde? Parabéns, vocês fizeram um ótimo trabalho. E agora o primeiro lugar, momento tão esperado. Feia, parabéns. Foi uma decisão bastante dura, bastante difícil, tá? As 3 equipes desempenharam muito bem. Tanto é que a gente demorou bastante para uma competição que tinham três equipes, a gente discutiu bastante. Vocês 3 estão de parabéns. Assim, tanto a Mackenzie em terceiro, Unicamp em segundo e FEA em primeiro. Vocês vão longe. Continua com esse hard work, continua essa intensidade que profissionalmente vocês já mostraram que vocês são capazes. Tá? Parabéns. Obrigado, pessoal. Oi? Troféu. Calma, calma. Estou liberando o pessoal. Ali. Vai sair. O pessoal estava pulando. Vamos ser suar aqui.
Pessoal, a gente vai ficar aqui ainda para tirar algumas fotos, mas em nome da Society, após o Gustavo falar, mas eu queria agradecer mais uma vez a presença de todo mundo. E a final das Américas vai ser em abril, né? Então, tanto a Poli de manhã como a FEA agora vão para Nova York, com tudo pago pelo CFA Institute, né? Passagem, hotel, e vão representar o Brasil, né? Como o Simon falou agora há pouco, representam o Brasil lá fora. Então, é isso, tá? Boa sorte para vocês. A gente vai verificar como a companhia pediu, se a gente pode botar vocês ainda em contato com a empresa, para ver se a empresa, né? O pessoal lá do board da empresa aprende com vocês aí também, que é a ideia da empresa, né? Mas a gente volta a falar com vocês. Já está livre, também está livre, então não tem problema. Mas mais uma vez, obrigado. Mais alguma coisa para a gente comentar?
Do estacionamento.
O estacionamento é cortesia do BTG Pactual, todo mundo pode pegar um selinho na saída também. Que mais?
Tirar foto dos judges com a empresa e tirar foto aqui dos...
Isso aí. A gente está à disposição para quem quiser conversar com a gente e tirar foto, tá bom? Os troféus estão aqui na frente. Parabéns, gente. Obrigado.
Pessoal da FEA.
Não.
Ele é oficial. Boa. Vamos tirar foto aqui. Obrigado. Com a empresa. Vai.
Essa aqui eu não sei se pode ser feito numa mão.
Obrigado, viu? Muito obrigado.